The ballroom lights sparkled like distant stars. Laughter floated through the air. Crystal glasses clinked near the bar. But right beside the wine table, my father leaned in close. I could smell the whiskey on his breath. "If it wasn't for pity," he whispered, "no one here would have invited you." I took a slow sip of my red wine. The music kept playing behind us. No one else noticed the quiet war happening in that corner. 21 years had passed since the last time we stood this close. He still saw the girl he had thrown out. What he didn't know was that in less than 5 minutes, everything would change. The room smelled of fresh roses and polished wood. Soft lights hung from the ceiling. White tablecloths covered every surface. A small band played gentle music near the tall windows. This was the kind of elegant place my father had always dreamed about. The kind that made him feel important. I stood near the edge in a simple navy dress. My hair was pinned back neatly. I looked like any other guest who had come to celebrate. That was exactly what I wanted. I had not come to cause trouble. I had only come because my nephew sent me a letter I could not ignore. After 21 years, I was ready to walk back into the house I once called home, even if just for one night. My nephew Jordan stood near the dance floor. He greeted guests with a nervous but happy smile. He looked so much like his father, my brother Michael. That thought sat heavy in my chest. I let my eyes move across the room. That's when I saw him. My father stood by the bar with 2 men in dark suits. His shoulders were still broad, but age had softened them a bit. His hair had turned gray. He laughed at something one of the men said. Then his eyes found me. The moment stretched out. Confusion crossed his face first. Then disbelief. Then something sharper. He said a quick word to the men and walked straight toward me. His steps were firm. I did not move. 21 years ago, I had left his house with a duffel bag and nothing else. Tonight I stood here with calm in my bones from years of facing real storms. He stopped 2 feet away. Up close, the lines on his face looked deeper. "Elena," he said. His voice was flat, like he was reading an old name from a list. I nodded. "Dad." The word felt strange on my tongue. He studied me. He was looking for the stubborn 19-year-old who once told him she was joining the Navy. That girl was long gone. Finally he leaned closer. "Interesting choice," he said. "Showing up here?" I asked. "Your grandson invited me." He gave a short laugh. "That boy has always been too soft." The music shifted. Laughter came from somewhere nearby. But the space between us stayed cold. "You look surprised," I said. "I'm not surprised," he replied. "Just curious why you'd come back after all these years." His eyes flicked over my dress and the glass in my hand. "Unless you thought this would impress people." "I didn't come to impress anyone." He smiled thinly and leaned in even closer. "If it wasn't for pity, no one here would have invited you." The words hung there. I took another sip of wine. It tasted ordinary. I set the glass down slowly. "You always were stubborn," he muttered. "Some habits stick," I said. He looked past me. "Just remember, this evening isn't about you." "I know." At that moment, the band finished their song. A microphone tapped. Guests turned toward the head table. The bride stepped forward with a bright smile. "I'd like everyone's attention," she said. My father sighed beside me. The bride looked out at the crowd. Her eyes found mine. Something in her smile shifted. She lifted her glass. "Before we continue, there's someone here tonight I want to recognize." My father thought he knew why I had come. He was wrong. Not even close. Let me take you back to the beginning. The first time my father told me to leave, he did not yell. That made it hurt even more. Some wounds come quiet. They come in a steady voice and a cold decision from someone who thinks they are always right. I was 19. Our house sat on the edge of a small coastal town in Virginia. Everyone knew everyone else's business. My mother kept the banister polished. My father trimmed the hedges perfectly. Everything had its place, including me, as long as I stayed in the one he chose. I was the older daughter who should have been easy. My mother once said on the phone, "Elena is smart. She's just difficult. So independent." Difficult was their word for not following orders. My younger brother Michael moved through the house like he belonged. He knew when to laugh, when to agree. My father called him sensible. I asked too many questions. I read late at night. I stood up for what felt fair. By 19, I had learned the rules. Do not embarrass him. Do not want a different life. But I had wanted the Navy since I was 12. I saw a woman in uniform on a pier once. She looked strong and free. She did not apologize for taking up space. I kept that dream quiet. I studied hard. I ran every morning. I talked to a recruiter in secret. One Thursday evening in May, I stood in the living room with the acceptance packet. The sun warmed the room. My mother was in the kitchen. Michael played loud music upstairs. My father sat in his chair with the newspaper. "I need to tell you something," I said. He knew right away he would not like it. "What is it?" I handed him the packet. He frowned at the seal. "I've accepted an appointment with the Navy. I leave in July." For a moment he just stared. Then he took off his glasses. "No. I've already signed." He stood up fast. The newspaper fell. My mother came to the doorway. "What's going on?" "I joined the Navy," I said. My mother went pale. My father's voice stayed low. "You will call them and undo this." "I'm not going to do that. The military is not a place for you." "It is if I decide it is." His jaw tightened. "You think wearing a uniform will make people respect you?" The evening light turned the windows gold. The clock ticked loud on the mantel. "I'm not doing this for other people," I said. "I'm doing it for my life." He laughed without humor. "Your life? As if what you do doesn't affect this family. This isn't about me being safe. It's about how it looks to your friends." My mother stepped closer. "Elena, please. Tell me I'm wrong," I said to her. She stayed silent. That hurt deep. My father folded the packet. "You will not do this. You will not throw your life away." "I'm not throwing it away. You are if you make me choose." He looked at me with resolve. "If you walk out that door for the Navy, don't bother coming back." The room went still. My mother made a small sound but said nothing. I waited. He did not take it back. I nodded, went upstairs, and packed a duffel bag. Jeans, shoes, sweaters, one old photo of me and Michael at the fair. I left before dinner. No one followed. 3 weeks later I returned for the rest of my things. The door was locked. 2 cardboard boxes waited on the porch. My books in one. My coat and boots in the other. Nothing personal. I saw movement behind the curtains. Someone was home. No one opened the door. I stood there while a dog barked down the street. The handles cut into my hands. I loaded the boxes and drove away. That day I learned some people use pride like a wall. 21 years later, those boxes still felt real in my memory as I stood near my father at the wedding. The first morning of training started in the dark. A whistle cut through the barracks. Up. Move. Boots hit the floor. I had been awake already. Growing up with conditional love teaches you to prepare early. 40 of us stood there. 36 men, 4 women. The air smelled of the sea. Instructors pushed us hard. Drills, runs, corrections. It was not mean. It was testing. One instructor stopped in front of me during a run. "You sure about this, Elena?" Yes, sir. You understand this is not a place for trying? Yes, sir. He nodded and moved on. I kept going. The voice in my head sounded like my father. You don't belong. You'll quit. Every hard run, every inspection, I used that voice as fuel. Years passed. The Navy shaped me. Deployments blurred together. I learned respect comes from showing up, finishing the job, helping others. My first command came after 8 years. A destroyer in the Pacific. Standing on the bridge, I felt free for the first time. No one decided my worth anymore. Leadership grew through small choices. Staying calm in rough seas. Admitting mistakes. Supporting a struggling sailor. One mission changed everything. We escorted a humanitarian convoy. Radar showed 3 fast-armed boats coming out of the fog. The bridge went quiet. Orders flew. One cargo ship hesitated. I made the call. Move us forward. Between them and the cargo ship. The destroyer cut into position. Tension stretched tight. Minutes felt like hours. The attackers turned away. Later, someone asked why. That's where we were needed, I said simply. 2 years ago, the promotion came. Admiral. The title felt heavy but earned. I thought about those cardboard boxes that day. I wondered if my father ever heard anything. I never called. He never reached out. Then the letter arrived on a Tuesday. It sat on my desk after a long briefing. Careful handwriting. Elena Brooks. Return address in Virginia. My chest tightened. Inside, a short note from my nephew Jordan. Dear Aunt Elena, I'm Michael's son. Dad passed 3 years ago. Mom said you two were close once. I found an old photo of you and Dad laughing at the fair. Grandpa said it doesn't matter anymore, but I think it does. I'm getting married in May. I would like you to come. You're still family to me. Jordan. I read it twice. Michael was gone. No one told me. The news sat heavy. We had been close as kids. Built forts. Rode bikes. He tried to keep peace with Dad. I could not. After I left, we had one phone call. I wish things were different, he said. So do I. I sat at my kitchen table that night with the letter. My apartment was quiet and orderly. The question turned in my mind. Do you go back? The easy answer was no. But something pulled me. I was not afraid anymore. I sent a short reply. Dear Jordan, thank you. I would be honored to attend. Elena. On the wedding morning, I looked at my dress uniform in the closet. White fabric, perfect insignia. I closed the door. Tonight was not about showing rank. I chose the simple navy dress. I drove alone. Music and laughter met me at the entrance. I paused, then walked in. Now back in the ballroom, the bride Mia spoke into the microphone. My father muttered, "You always had dramatic timing." I did not answer. Mia said, "Weddings are about 2 people, but sometimes about those who shaped us before." She told a story about a ship, a storm, and a brave decision. My father shifted. This must be about some officer my son admired. Mia continued. My father served 20 years. One night, armed boats attacked the convoy. One escort ship hesitated. But one officer did not. She moved her ship right between the danger and the cargo ship. Calm. Trusting her crew. My father whispered, "Why is she looking at you?" Mia stepped off the stage. She walked straight to us. Her heels clicked on the wood. Guests watched. She stopped, smiled, and gave a crisp military salute. A ripple of surprise went through the room. My father froze. Mia turned back to the crowd. Raise a glass to the woman my father called the bravest officer he ever served under. To Admiral Elena Brooks. The room went silent. Then applause exploded. People stood. Glasses rose. My father stared like he saw a ghost. "You," he said. The title echoed. "Admiral." Whispers spread. "Did she say Admiral?" Mia shook my hand warmly. "My father asked me to thank you if I ever could." "You're kind," I said. Guests clapped. My father stood still. Finally he spoke. "Admiral." "Yes." "You stayed in the Navy?" "Yes." "For 21 years?" "Yes." He looked around at the watching faces. "The promotion was 2 years ago?" "Yes." "You never said anything. You never asked." The words landed soft but strong. The quartet started playing again. The party tried to continue, but everything had shifted. My father rubbed his neck. "You're an admiral," he said quietly. "Yes." "You've done well." "I've done the work I believed in." "You could have told us." "You could have asked." He hesitated. "I didn't know where you were." "You knew I joined the Navy." "I assumed." He stopped. "You assumed I failed." He did not deny it. We stood there. Two people tied by blood and years of silence. Then he straightened. "My daughter." "An admiral." He shook his head. "Life has a strange sense of humor." "Sometimes," I agreed. He extended his hand. I took it. His grip was firm but weaker than I remembered. "I'm glad you came tonight." "I came for Jordan." "I know." Still. Across the room, Jordan and Mia raised their glasses with warm smiles. I nodded back. No big tears. No full reconciliation. Some things take more than one night. But the old story my father believed for 21 years was gone. The truth stood in its place. I walked over to Jordan and Mia. They hugged me tight. "Thank you for coming," Jordan said. "I wouldn't have missed it." Mia smiled. "My father always hoped he'd see you again." A few minutes later I stepped outside. Cool evening air touched my face. Flowers scented the garden. Music played inside. I looked at the sky. 21 years ago I left with a duffel bag and stubborn pride. Tonight I understood something simple. Dignity does not come when others finally approve. It comes when you stop waiting for their approval. If someone ever told you that you did not belong, if they tried to shrink your dreams, remember this. Your story does not end at their closed door. Truth has a way of walking back in when it is needed. It does not shout. It simply stands.